Hey everybody.
What up?
So I wanted to do a quick live. I'm gonna make sure my Wi-Fi not on because it's actually was slow. Nope, it's not on. I wanted to do a quick video because this month is November and it is National Diabetes Awareness Month, and I'm always telling my story, so I thought it'll be good for my husband to tell his side of like what he remembers, because I've been diabetic now for 4 years. I was diagnosed on February 28th 2015, so I remember the exact date. And so it's been 4 years, but I want him to tell his side, because I always tell how I was diagnosed and kind of things that happened. So honey, what do you remember happening? What do you remember was going on?
All right. The reason that I didn't mind speaking on this video with my wife is because when your spouse get diagnosed with diabetes, you do too. And what I mean by that is it's a struggle for both parties. You have to help your partner out, each and every day. But what I can remember is I was on my way to work and she called me. She said she wasn't feeling well. And I said, okay, honey, you don't like anybody else. You brush it off or whatever. But this ended up being like 4 days. And on that fourth day, she picked me up from work, and like her whole complexion, she was like gray. It was almost if you were seeing your partner dying or whatever right before your eyes or whatever. And I said, honey, we got to take you to the doctor. And she was just extremely thirsty. She couldn't even drive. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna drive you.
Don't move it.
And we'll go on to the doctor, whatever. And we got to the doctor, and she said, I'm thirsty. So me not knowing, I went and bought her a Coke while we sitting in the emergency room.
More sugar.
So we got back there, and the doctor, he was like, has anybody told you that you're a diabetic? We was like, what? No, her blood sugar was in the 600s. It was so serious that they had to admit her immediately. They took us to the I think it's the intensive care unit.
Yeah, ICU.
And the ICU, intensive care unit. And they put her on a drip because she was DKA.
Insulin drip.
So if you don't know what DKA is when the sugar get high in your blood and it turns acidic. So basically her blood had turned to acid. So we had to and it was pretty serious because we was on a drip. We stayed in the hospital for 5 days. Yeah. They wouldn't let us go home because they had to get those numbers down. Even like day 3, we still was like in the 500s. I think it was like 558, something like that on day 3. It wouldn't come down. And which was even more scarier, my dad had a gentleman who actually, he ended up falling dead at work, and his blood sugar was in the 600s.
Yeah.
So once I found that out, it was even more scarier for me. So, okay, so you say, okay, what y'all did now that you found out that she's diabetic? It's a whole lifestyle change. So in the hospital, we had to start then. So they put us on we had to learn how to not drink sodas with sugar. So we drank a lot of diet sodas if she wants a soda. So we did a lot of Sprite Zeros or whatever. We did water a lot. Water is your best friend. Yeah, because sometimes even a diet drink can make you have a sugar spike. What else we did? We talked to a dietitian. She had a dietitian that was assigned to her. We had to go through a diabetic class before we could leave the hospital. They taught us what to eat, how much of it to eat, how to count carbs, how to count calories. And it was a lot, and now here it is. I got this person that I care about, and she's sick, and I got to make sure that she don't, get in this state again. So upon leaving the hospital, we ended up going home. I had to throw everything in the refrigerator away, and we had to start fresh. So I had to go get the things that she can eat, which was a lot of plants, a lot of vegetables, and fruit. But you got to be careful. As a new diabetic or any diabetic, fruit is natural sugar. Yeah. So it also can give you a sugar spike, okay? So the main thing is we ended up changing the diet. We ended up exercising. Exercising is a big thing. Now, when you exercise, you also have to be careful because as a diabetic, when you exercise, you can have what's called a low. And if you have if you don't know what a low is, that means that instead of your blood sugar being high, it's being low. And it's definitely it's just as dangerous. Okay, when you have a low, I mean, you can go go into a coma and all kind of stuff. So you don't want to have a high or low. So it's a tough job trying to keep it in the middle. You get what I'm saying? So not only I say this to everybody who ever asks me, not only when your spouse get diagnosed, you get diagnosed as well, because it's a lifestyle change. You have to adapt to what they can eat. So I had to change the way I eat, because I can't be over here, eating. I like big old hamburgers. I like cheeseburgers. So, I can't be over here indulging in this, and then it's making my partner, it's affecting my partner, which helped me as well, because I'm a truck driver. I eat horrible. All that truck stops and everything. So it helped me understand what food. At first, I was very upset, and I looked at food as being an enemy. But when I found out, what it's actually used for, food is just used for energy. It's not supposed to be a sit down, pleasing time where you get your relaxing part of that's the most relaxing part of your day. No, food is energy. You put food in your body to go do a task. If you don't, that's why it's not okay for you to eat late. It's not okay for you to eat too much when you're depressed. Like if you get upset and grab a big old thing of ice cream, that ain't okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you're drinking tea, try some unsweet tea sometime,
or half sweet
and have unsweet, because these places put too much sugar in it. Up north, when I went up north, they didn't even offer sweet tea. They didn't even know what it was. That's a down south thing. So your diet, the first doctor in your house is your spouse. And what I mean by that, what she puts in your body, what she cooks for you, or what he cooks for you, is the most important thing. And then once you get a hold of what you guys eat and get some exercise in, then you'll be fine. Okay? Remember, take care of your spouse, take care of yourself, okay? And then put God first. But if there's any questions that you need to ask us, whether it be me or my wife, we're more than happy to help you, because we understand the struggle. We understand what it is.
So diabetes is like where your body, a normal person's body, when they eat a meal, it raises most of the food that you eat. It converts into sugar, and your body naturally creates its own insulin, I guess is what I want to call it, and it puts your sugar goes up every time you eat, no matter who you are, and then it goes back down as normal and you function properly. But when you have diabetes, either your body does not make insulin at all, which is type 1 diabetes, or your body doesn't make enough, which I'm type 2, which it doesn't make enough for my meals, so I have to take insulin to help me with that. So that's why a lot of diabetics switch to low carb meals where they don't have that much sugar that they eat or whatever. But I take insulin, just so you guys know, this one I take once a day, and I'm gonna show you. I have to twist this little end here, and it tells me how much. So I take at least 45. Let me show you. I take at least 45 of this once a day. And so you open it up, and I have to put this little needle thing on it, which they're sterilized. They're in a box. So I have to take this little sticker off, and then I can twist the needle on. Once I twist the needle on, you see I already set the number to tell it how much insulin I need, and I push this button here. So I have to, I normally carry around a box of alcohol pads, because I have to wipe my stomach off or my leg. So I use an alcohol pad. I open up a wipe and rub like a spot on my leg or my stomach, and that spot that I cleaned is where I stick this into and push this button once a day. And this helps me throughout the day, just keep my levels normal throughout the day. But then I have to take a separate one when I eat a meal. because when you, like I said, when you eat a meal, it goes up so high depending on how much carbs or sugar is in the meal. And that's where I slipped up at with on the vegan diet. I got so comfortable knowing that vegan is like the best diet because it doesn't have animal products in it. But I was slipping off the fact, like, you still got to watch your carbs because you're diabetic. So with the vegans, okay, you're not eating meat, you're not eating cheese, you're not eating dairy, but that don't mean I can eat a bunch of potatoes still, or a bunch of beans have sugar in it, different stuff like that, rice, pasta. So yes, it's vegan, but doesn't have sugar in it. So I had to go back to that because I had another episode where I almost ended up back in the hospital recently because I wasn't watching the carbs because I thought my vegan diet was carrying me over, and I've been vegan for over a year. So here we go. This is the other one that I take at mealtime. This one I don't take as much. I may only take 10 units. So I go in and it has numbers on it and I twist it to 10. And again, it has a needle on it too. So I put a clean needle each time. And then I get an alcohol pad and I take this with each meal. So we just ate at a restaurant this morning. And I was telling him, I was like, I want to take it right here at the table, but it's not as normal to just like stick yourself at a table. So you normally have to go in a restroom or something. Because so you take this before you eat because and then you have to eat quickly because it's gonna start dropping you down.
And spouses, it's important to know how to administer this medicine because sometimes your spouse can get sick and she can't do it or he can't do it on his own. You need to know how to use these pens and know how to change the needles out because sometimes it can save your partner life.
So besides that, I have my meters that I use. One of mine, I got my hoodie on right now, so I can't show you in my arm. I actually might. I'm going to do this for y'all. I'm going to take one arm out. Let's see. I'm going to take one arm out and show you what it looks like. This is in my arm. It's waterproof and it's in there for 14 days. Every 14 days and then you pop it out. It's not the mark of the beast. Okay? I'm just saying. People always think stuff when you see something in somebody's arm. But this is called a Freestyle Libre. And what it is, this is how it works. Instead of pricking my fingers several times a day to see what my blood sugar is, I just put this in one time every 14 days and I have this little scanner. It scans this thing. So
go ahead, scan it for me.
Scan it. Low battery. And it says I'm at 187 right now, which actually isn't bad because we just ate like an hour ago. So the number you want to be in is like 80 to 120. So I'm a little bit up, but that's because I just ate. So I'm waiting on that mealtime insulin to kick in. If I did not have this, then I would have to go old school where I have this and you have to put a test strip in it.
And we prick those fingers.
And then you have to get a pricker to prick your finger. So you take the test strip, put the test strip in here, prick one of your fingers where a little drop of blood comes out. Put this on the drop of blood and it tells you what your sugar is. So some of us, our sugars fluctuate so much to where we actually will have to prick our fingers several times a day. So instead of doing that, I have the Freestyle Libre, which keeps me from pricking my fingers all the time. So that's everything, guys. Just some symptoms of being diabetic, just so you know, is extremely thirsty. You're always thirsty. I mean, literally, I will be standing with bottles and jugs of water just down there like this. Go, 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 go. And then after I'm done, it's like a hand drunk nothing. So extremely thirsty. Frequent urination, like you just peeing like every 10 minutes, 15 minutes, seriously. Fatigue. Very tired. Can't hardly move. Just, it don't matter how long you sleep. You get 8 hours of sleep, 9 hours of sleep, you always still tired. Another one is it could be extreme hunger, and then that's just a few off the top of my head. Those were the ones I experienced. And blurry vision. Blurry vision is another sign where your blurry vision is probably not that you need glasses. It's probably that you need to get your sugar regulated properly. So when I'm glad that I had finally went to the hospital when I was first diagnosed, because when I had those symptoms, I was like, oh, this is not serious.